Throwback Thursday, and we're throwing it back to the kitchen. Throwing it back for some tasty, tantalizing, tasteful treats made from my heart with love, as always. We're gonna make up some raw cacao, raw chocolates. I've actually already started it because I wanted to make sure that you could appreciate the process that it requires. So as we pull the station closer, here's the mother load, just in case you didn't notice. I have a couple mixing bowls, and you never know how big it's gonna get, but I have a recipe that I go by that I've been using, and I modify it as I go along the way. I'm gonna be using some extra ingredients in here that are considered superfoods and great for adrenals and balancing, but I'm gonna tell you straight off, it's very simple. If you wanna make this at home, if you don't have some of these ingredients, it's not gonna kill your recipe. It's gonna be just as delicious with a simple, equal mix of the cacao to the cacao butter. Now, most people don't realize is that when you get this big cacao fruit, it has all of these cacao beans, and in the center of those beans is the cacao butter. I've never had it fresh, but I understand it's even more delicious when you can have the cacao butter. So you mix that because the butter's what hardens it, unless you have the hard chocolate, and that's a combination of the two. So what I have over here, I have on a low setting the cacao butter. I'm going to show you real quick. Get on up in there, right? So it has to melt in order for you to properly mix everything else in it. And I measured it out already, and I have a scale over here, right? Simple scale, digital. I create a tare. Basically, it balances out what is on it. Very simple. This is what I'm using. I'm using HealthWorks cacao butter, and that's what's on top of the burner, the stovetop. It's all organic. Again, keeping it simple. If you want to make this recipe, you would do 133, you don't have to be exact, 135 to 135. So, hi Rosemary, how are you from New Jersey? Let me know, y'all, if you're in the Florida area, because I've got a workshop about mindfulness in the moment, and that's what these chocolates are being made for. As I'm going to bring a sweet treat so that you can really feel the sensual, sensuality of the chocolate, the experience in the moment. It's part of this workshop that I'm doing. So it's mindfulness in the moment. And when we're fully present in the moment, what you find is that all of your senses are heightened, enriched, and you have a much more fuller, more enjoyable experience when you can truly be in that moment, in this moment right here. Because all that other stuff that's going on outside of us is really taking us out of what's really pertinent and relevant right here, right now. So again, Clearwater, Florida. Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. What are your health fitness goals? Do you like your chocolate? Do you like it creamy, milky? Do you like it dark? Do you like it a little bit sweetened and spicy? I like it spicy. I like a little cayenne every once in a while in my chocolate. And I do that. I'll add a little spice to give it a kick, a little flavor. I have all of my extra ingredients over here. I'm all about my little, this is my recipe book. You know, when things get really special, they get written down. So, like I said, we got the raw cacao. I use a spoon to stir it all up together. It's very, this is like really old school and truly going back to basics. I just stir everything together with a spoon. If you've got the whole chocolate mixer-upper, that's fantastic, because what happens is you got it already churning for you, right? Oh yeah, I love me dark chocolate personally. I used to be a milk chocolate person, but did you know when you have milk chocolate, the milk cancels out the antioxidants of the chocolate itself. So if you're adding like the milk to tea or anything that's high and rich in antioxidants, unfortunately, it's canceling out all the goodness. And that happens. We don't all understand. I didn't know for years. about food combining and how important it is. So I am sitting here, I am stirring it up. It is almost fully mixed. You'll see that there's some hard pieces. You just want to keep on mixing it until it all melts. And then once it's melted, you can start adding your ingredients. So while that's finishing up, and I can actually turn the stovetop off, and sometimes you might want to turn it back on if you need to go back to melting things up and it hardens while you're in the process. So let me see, what do we have here? Oh, yes, creamy. All right, so what I'm going to do, what I like to do first is I have the cacao, and if I recall, because I tend to use measuring cups as well at the same time, what you can do is you could use like a little container or something. This is my 1 cupper, and unfortunately I got a couple holes because I lost the handle piece off of it. When I put everything on here, I don't know how many of you use scales in your kitchen. You turn it on. It should originally tare from the time you turn it on, but if it doesn't, you hold down the tare button so that it can reset it to 0, so that whatever I put in there is gonna give me the actual weight of the cacao. So while I'm over here, reaching in for a spoon to scoop it all in, I'm so grateful you tuned in tonight. This is special because for me, and you want to make sure it's, you know, all those chunks of chocolate cacao, if you have powder that you're working with, you gotta kind of grind them down a little so that they're all powder form and not all chunks and solid little rocks of chocolate. Like this has a little bit and needs to be stirred up. Don't we all need a little stirred up in our lives sometimes? Bring us back to life. All right, let's see. So we got, right now that's 15 grams. So we're going for 133 grams roughly. We may be adding a little coconut oil, and that can help so that it's not super hard. When I make my chocolates, I don't like them to be too hard. Sometimes they can be too hard when you get regular chocolate in the stores and such. You gotta know what you like, right? Oh, yes, mostly healthy foods are very important, Carl. Thank you.
Is Carl in there?
Yes, he is.
Carl, you rockin' Rad Star. What is it, 68 days?
Oh, yeah.
68 days of not smoking, y'all. And he's been with us for over a year. That is a huge, 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 huge success. So keep going. Everyone, friend, follow, and support Carl, y'all. Good job, bud.
We are inspired just by you sticking to the commitment of smoking cessation. I know it's hard for a lot of people to quit things that make them feel like, you know, it works. It's helping me. Oh, wow. Yeah, breaking your teeth. That's a good point. I didn't think. You're talking about the cigarettes breaking your teeth? Oh, the chocolate. Right, the hard chocolates. All right, so right now I've got 76. So from 133, let's put a little bit more in there so I can make this an even number. So we're at 80. To get 133, we need another 53, right? So now all of the chocolate cacao butter, this isn't the chocolate itself, this is cacao butter, which hardens it. It's been melted down, and we have 80 grams going in now of the cacao. Now we need a good 53. And you know, this is a labor of love. This is about patience. It's about understanding, you know, like what you create in the kitchen, what you make from your heart extends out through the arms and the hands. So for those of us who really appreciate and love food, when we prepare for others, we're infusing it with our love and any thoughts that arise. So again, with my workshop, mindfulness in the moment is also paying attention to where are my thoughts right now. What is it that I am carrying forth in what I'm preparing and what I'm hearing and seeing, because it's all connected. And if the more aware you are in the moment, the more you're going to be able to recognize sometimes the hiccups in life, right? You get more clarity, more insight, the intimacy, the into me I see. It enhances your creativity because things will just naturally unfold in your life that enhance it. Okay, right now we're at 52, so basically, here we go, 53. We are smack dab on the money. Equal pots. Oh yeah, yummy. And so, if you've ever tried raw cacao by itself, oh yeah, that's awesome. A retired chef, that's awesome. You're lucky. I grew up also with a father that was a chef. He had a restaurant called Bellamia's. How many of you have had raw cacao and gone, whoa, it's not sweet? Because it's not. It's just, it's quite bitter, earthy, right? It's a bean. So it isn't always what it seems, right? Alrighty. So now that we've done that, we're going to go in order of ingredients. So whenever you look at an ingredient list, whether it's chocolate off the shelves or your food that you're buying, even in my recipes, I make it easier to go in order of ingredients with the highest amount. So the highest amount are the raw cacao and the cacao butter, and the next one I use is lucuma. Now lucuma is from the egg fruit, and what it is it's this flavor that kind of imparts like a caramel, right? And so we need 20 grams, 25 grams, 25 to 26 grams of lucuma, and then baobab. Now baobab is very high in potassium, magnesium. It's very good for minerals. And vitamin C, very high in vitamin C. There we go, smack dab on the money on that one. See, when you do this long enough, you can eyeball it and know, but I haven't been making my chocolate. It's been months since I made chocolates. This is special. So y'all are getting a special insight into my chocolates. Now let me go back to this melted raw cacao butter and cacao, because you have to stir it up. If you don't start stirring it up in there, you're going to have to eventually break down any type of chunks so that you don't end up with powder and granules, right? Again, if you have something to stir it better with, you know, one of these days I'm probably going to invest in one of the chocolate machines. I have a little bit of a love for doing it with my hands sometimes because, again, it adds that extra something something from my heart. I'm very much appreciative that I have this gift and this blessing that I can do this for others. See, and that in itself, just the gratitude you're infusing into the food you're preparing. So when there's like little chunks, I start to mash them up along the sides of the container using my spoon. Stirring, stirring, stirring with love, stirring, right? Hi, Marianne. Hi, Rachel. What do y'all have going on in your kitchens tonight? What are you eating? What's your favorite treat? Like, are you a huge chocolate lover? I know I wasn't always as a kid. I was a strawberry vanilla girl. And now I'm like, you know, as an adult, I grew into this. I love my chocolate. Now, with the exception, I loved Rocky Road when I was a kid. Rocky Road, right? Oh, all those different flavors. Or cookies and cream ice cream, which there exists. I think it so makes one that's cashew based. That's phenomenal. It's actually a chocolate cookies and cream. And until I figure out how the heck they do it in a way that it's still soft, because when I make my ice creams and I put them in the freezer, they don't stay soft. They get pretty darn hard. Even when I had my ice cream maker when I lived in Italy, you have to keep the machine moving. You have to keep it churning. So there's all sorts of things that they put it in. Unless you're getting it full on fresh when it's made, there's a trick. There's a special trick. All right, now that we get that, we're gonna add the lucuma. And the lucuma is very powdery. All right, and then the next one is baobab. Again, these are really great, believe it or not. It's not just for flavor, but they're good for vitamins and minerals and nutrients and such. Ooh, chocolate chip pecan cookies. OMG, girlfriend. You know, as long as you come in on Saturday and you share some with me, I'm happy. So the next ingredient is baobab. That comes from a tree. You know, there are these nuts and they grind them up and create this baobab. And it is right here. So I reused my jars. We're going to use 20 grams of baobab. If I recall, this is from the tree of life. If you think about it, there's no coincidence. And so this is 20 grams we're going for. There's 7.54, 12, 13, almost there. And if you use baobab in a smoothie, it gives it kind of a creamy, almost a yogurty flavor tang to it. Sometimes I'll just take a scoop of it and put in like a kombucha blend with it too, which is the next thing on the list of things that I'll be sharing with you tonight. Or tonight, depending on where you are, right? I will definitely be your guinea pig, Marianne, if you want to try some healthy recipes. I'm more than willing to, you know, sacrifice helping if you want. Sharing is caring. That's what I always say. Yeah, and if you like these types of recipes, let us know in the comments. If you know somebody who could benefit, do you know some chocolate lovers you could share this with? Oh my gosh, it smells so divine. I wish you had smell vision over there, as you could just get a whiff of this chocolate. Oh my gosh, it's so divine. And I will probably end up adding just like a tablespoon or two of coconut oil, just to keep the just a little bit extra, because I might not, because I'll do the maple syrup. Now with the maple syrup, I go 4 to 5 tablespoons in this recipe. So I can do that now because it helps with, when you're using powders, you need a little bit more to add to the moisture to reconstitute the powders, right? Anytime you're talking about, so there's 1, 2, whenever something has been dehydrated, you've taken out the moisture, right? All right, there we go. And the whole point of food is you want to hydrate yourself and nourish your body. And so when we take certain things out, we have to find ways to rebalance it, whether you're drinking more water or eating more fruits and vegetables in their natural state. There are some foods that are recommended to cook. You know, they say it's best to cook mushrooms because then you get the benefits, more benefit. All right, so now, where'd I put the lid? Okay, we're done with the cacao. Hi, Cody, how are you tonight? Now we have the next ingredient on the list is mucuna pruriens. Now, mucuna pruriens, ladies, if you're not using it, it's very beneficial. It is another bean. A lot of these are beans too, right? Mucuna pruriens is great for the adrenals and tonifying the body after workouts and things like that. So here we are going to use 6.66 grams. Well, there we go. Smack dab. 6.53 will be sufficient. And then the next ingredient is ashwagandha. It's an Ayurvedic herb. I love my ashwagandha. It is extremely beneficial, once again, for the ladies and the men too. It is adrenal balancing, tonifying, all those wonderful things we need. And this we're going to add 3.52 grams. So we start getting lower in what we're using. So 3.52 Here we go. There we go. All right, sweet. So the Bacunapurians, the ashwagandha, and now some mesquite, which is nice for flavor as well. Again, balancing. Let's see, well, is it? It is right here. Oh, what did I just say? I said mesquite. Mesquite, when I was younger, I always thought mesquite meant smoky. You know, barbecue, we think mesquite, we think barbecue. Well, it's actually sweet. It has a really, it has a little smokiness to it in the smell, but the flavor is sweet. And again, it's a good tonifier, great for adrenals. On this one, we're gonna use 5.25. Okay, we went up on this ingredient. And again, make sure that if you're using fine powders, that there's no chunkies in it, because then you're gonna have to break it down in the mix while you're stirring, unless, again, you have a special chocolate machine to do it in, which I don't have, and that's okay, because I think when you make things from scratch, you have more appreciation for them. I know when someone makes something for me from scratch, I definitely have a huge appreciation for them. So, yeah, we're almost there. Next ingredient is googaloo. I just like saying googaloo. Does anybody out there have any idea about googaloo? It's a resin, just like Shilajit, which is also on our list. It's something very beneficial for minerals, again, right? Another Ayurvedic. Oh, the week is going fantastic. Thank you for asking, Carl. I have been excited because I'm preparing for this weekend coming up and all those wonderful yoginis that are signed up to come to the class. I will have these chocolates for those who do show up. So googaloo is a resin. You got to break it down a little. And we're going to use about 2 grams. So this one's very potent flavor-wise. So if you use too much, you'll feel it on your palate. 2 grams. Now we're just over. So it needs to be ground down properly. Kind of like Shilajit is also their fulvic minerals. There we go. Exactly what we needed. And I don't know about anybody else, but I know I have muscle pains and aches, and I use a lot of turmeric. I use turmeric in pretty much anything and everything I can sneak it into, just based on the fact that I know it's anti-inflammatory. So a lot of this is going to be anti-inflammatory and helpful for regenerating, you know, like the cerebral fluids, the synovial fluids, not cerebral, but somewhat, well, maybe even sil, because you know it is going to balance hormones and such. The synovial fluids between the joints, the spinal fluid along the spine. I mean, we want to be youthful. Hello, we don't want to go through pain just getting by, go through life with pain, getting by. I know from my existence, the rest of my time on this earth, I'm going to treat this temple a lot better than I did when I was younger. Horsetail is the next one. Now, ladies, horsetail root, that's what I have. You can use horsetail or shave grass as another name to make teas. This is really helpful for hair, skin, nails, collagen. Horsetail root, look it up. It's some beneficial stuff. I love this stuff. So we're going to go just about 2 grams on this one. Yep, there we go. Oh, there we go. I love, and it has kind of a green, it's got a green tea kind of matcha smell to it as well. Oh, the horsetail root. I love nettle root too. It's kind of nutty. Mind you, matcha a little. He loves to sniff on everything because he really has a heightened sense of smell, and so you'd be surprised the memories that he pops up. He's like, this reminds me of. It's not necessarily something I would remember, but because
that was horsetail root?
Yes.
That's in a lot of teas?
No.
No?
I don't think it's as well known.
No.
Because
I've heard of it a lot, actually, but can you encompass it in like a lot of stuff? I mean, could you throw it in a smoothie?
Of course.
Yeah.
And I have before.
I wonder if a lot of MLM or supplements use that on a microdose and all their other little concoctions, because that's like a whole bunch right there. Where's it at?
This one here?
Yeah, like that's like a whole lot. Like, how much did you put in there?
2 grams.
2 grams, yeah, just a little bit.
Just in this particular recipe, I sometimes will use more than that in my smoothies. It just depends on what I'm preparing. And horsetail root is not as well spoken about. There's a lot of things out there that are really beneficial for people, and they don't even know about it because it hasn't been widely advertised. Now, give it a little bit of time. The moment it goes viral, it'll become a superfood, and everybody will be talking about it. But
I like the name.
Yeah, and the other name is shave grass, and it's used as a tea. So now we're on. Excuse me, that was funny. So that was horsetail, and this one here is, I'm going to do 2 grams. I didn't actually put this on this recipe. This is a different one. Anyway, this is nettle root powder. Now, a lot of you know about stinging nettle tea, which is very beneficial. Again, we're going to do 2 grams of the nettle root. Nettle root is very good for all of us. We can never not try something new and see how it benefits us. So nettle root comes from the root of the stinging nettle. Again, it's used as a tea. A lot of people out there, if you notice, it's very synergistic with your body. I'm going to move on to Shilajit now. This one we're doing 1 gram. This stuff is really potent, in fact.
I love Shilajit.
Yes.
Which one did you use? We have 2 versions.
You know what? I almost want you to grab me that other one. Because
this one I've used a ton in a bunch of protocols, y'all. If you want the protocol, I have like a 7-day like detox. And it's totally free. You just have to get the products. And I think this one was like $80.
Oh, Omaca's
this one's really This one's a really, really good one, but it's expensive. And so this one is you bought in bulk.
Yeah, I got that through Banyan Botanicals, most likely. That's one of the places I buy bulk from for the herbs, especially.
Oh, that was really powerful. You could just put this in like a water, like this much water, and just drink it daily. Mm-hmm. Just a little bit of Shilajit and water.
Along with, the charcoal is really good for drawing out the... Well, no, I don't know. Would you want to do the 2 together? I don't know.
They smell pretty similar.
Oh, they're the same.
I just know that one is very expensive. And they also have a little paste one. A little paste one. Resin, which is more concentrate, right?
It's over there.
Yeah,
it's super strong.
This one, I've used this one quite a bit. This is the first one I actually used before when I started doing those detox like 4 or 5 years ago. This is a pretty good one too, y'all. Shilajit. It's basically, isn't it like an algae?
No, it's fulvic acid. It's a resin. Oh,
it's a resin. So, it doesn't taste that good. It does not taste good.
But it works synergistically and perfectly with cacao and chocolate, so that it almost kind of goes with that earthy flavor, and then you add these other spice it up, sweeten it up kind of ingredients. Now, I need to add some of the coconut oil to that as well now because it's so hard. So we're going to utilize, I'm going to use the other one. And this isn't like optimal top brand organic, it is organic virgin coconut oil. It is what it is. Whatever you got on hand is going to work, right? So before I continue with that, I've got 2 more I've got Gotu Kola, another Ayurvedic herb. It goes by the name of Bacopi, Monieri, Gotu Kola, and Brahmi. So it has various names, the families. I've looked this up, and again, it's another adrenal or hormonal balancer. It's interesting that something can have so many names. I was speaking with a girlfriend of mine about the reishi mushroom, and she said Gunanga, I think is the other name, the Latin name for it. And I was shaking my head going, isn't it crazy how many different names we have for stuff? So this one we have about 1 gram. And then we're going to go... there was another herb that I was going to use, but we're going to pass on that right now. We're just going to stick with that one. And then we're going to move on to... I really need a couple tablespoons of this. So I'm just going to pour in. That's about 2, 3. And put this back because I'm probably going to have to put it on the stovetop again so that it can melt a little bit more, because I'm reconstituting all these. Just put it on 2.5 here. And this helps because if it gets cold, like for example, I added the cold maple syrup to this, and what happened was it started to harden it, or like it was already hardening, because I put everything in the fridge after I mixed this up, after I put it in the molds that I have, which I have in the freezer, already prepared. And you want to keep it liquid as much as possible until the very end, but you want to also, like I said, make sure that you're stirring it well so that you mix everything around. So I'm going to leave that alone right now. And we're done with the Sheila G. Put all that up there, out of the way. We've done the Goo Glue and all that. Now we're getting to our flavors, the flavor enhancers that are going to really bring out all of that, those goodies that we just added to the chocolate mix. So we got about half a gram of allspice, which I buy everything in bulk just because it makes sense, and then I keep them in these pretty little jars. And I had a ninja that had me label everything so he would know where everything was, so that makes it helpful. So this is, okay, we put 69 in there. And because there's very little on the flavors, what I'm going to do is put it all in here at once. Now with cinnamon, we've got 68 grams. So we're gonna go probably about the same amount, 130. And this is Ceylon cinnamon, so not all cinnamon is created equal, right? Ceylon cinnamon, very good for balancing blood sugar for anybody who's a diabetic out there. Very helpful in that. Now, ginger. Because this is all in the form it's in, we want ginger to be, we're going to do a little, almost in, let's see.
Is this the leftover quinoa?
Yes. So we're going to put a gram of ginger. It gives it a little bit of a spicy kick and it's flavorful. I would love to use the fresh stuff, but it's a little bit more work to mix it in there. Then we're going to start adding the vanilla, the nutmeg, the salt. Nutmeg, we need 0.35 grams. There we go. Salt. See, now salt you don't need, but it helps enhance and bring out the rest of the other flavors. So this I have is just a regular, it's a real salt by Redmond. It's Nature's First Sea Salt. It's a fine salt, so it mixes simply. And this is a small container because I have a bigger container that I refill with it. So now we're at 3. We need about half a gram. Okay, so that's enough of that. Anybody else? Anybody else? Salt, and then we're gonna go with the stevias. And I do have a little vanilla. If you wanted to, you could add little chunks of cut up goji berries to this. On the vanilla end, we're gonna use half a gram again. So we'll be up to, there we go. Love vanilla. Vanilla makes everything better. Better. All right, so now time for the mix in. Let's see how we're doing over here. Yep, all right. So, and I may need to add just a little bit more coconut oil just to get it to move. But first, again, like I said, sometimes it's a matter of just warming things up. And you have to keep an eye. If you double boil it, you can double boil it where you have one pot with boiling water and another like this inside that boiling water. That way you won't overheat or cook the chocolate too strongly. So what I'm doing right now is is melting it back down a little bit because it is a little bit hardened.
It smells like brownies, y'all.
It smells good, doesn't it?
Can I turn this one on and do my quinoa while you're in here? Just a little bit?
Yeah.
That literally smells like brownies. I just want a little bit. Oh.
And And he knows I can multitask, so I'll keep an eye on his quinoa too.
Give him a little what thumb at.
I will in a second, but it's hot, so be
Look,
careful,
y'all.
please.
Look at this. This is medicinal, not caca. This is medicinal yum yum. Yum 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 yum. This might make you levitate, meditate, piss glitter, and smell like peaches. Just saying. Oh! That would have
Get
been
you back.
funny!
Alright, so this is one of my
in 5 minutes for quinoa.
this is one of my favorite molds of all time, and I bought this, I believe, when I was in, I think I bought this when I lived in Naples, Italy. It's heart-shaped with little hearts inside the hearts. Isn't that cool? I like to keep it in the freezer just because that's where it's going to go to harden after I put everything together. Let's see. We're going to add some of this coconut oil. And you don't want to add too much. If you add too much, trust me, you'll figure it out when your chocolates. I've probably put about 3 to 4 tablespoons of coconut oil in here. So this will be a perfect chocolate mix, in my honest opinion, because I've been doing this a while. I'm kind of famous for my chocolates in my yoga studio, just saying. Every year so far that I've assisted with the Kundalini Yoga teaching training, at the very end, and Diana, you'll appreciate, everybody gets one of my Ayurvedic chocolates as my token of love. Very much like this, pretty much the same recipe. We have a huge class. I'm super excited for them and their journey. How many of you out there are aware and have taken a Kundalini Yoga class? You know, if you're in a class with a bunch of people wearing all white and turbans, and you can't but help feel the energy of the room. Alright, this is, let me double check now. I have a couple more ingredients to add. Coconut crystals, vanilla stevia, and some almond extract. So I really love this almond extract. Very good stuff. And then I have butterscotch, stevia, and vanilla. Now this doesn't say butterscotch, but we're going to add the butterscotch as well. Omica, once again, a really good fine quality brand. Doesn't give you that aftertaste that some of the stevias out there do that has kind of like a chemical flavoring to it. I love this stuff. So I'm going to do 5 drops of almond extract. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's something about the lucky number 5 in my opinion. 5 is the number of transformation. Do you see famous, like, not numbers, like regular numbers? Do you have patterns that you run into? Do you have a certain number sequence that speaks to you? And if you do, let me know in the comments. I'm always curious about stuff like that. Am I the only one?
Are you going to provide the recipe?
I could.
Or is this a top secret recipe?
Well, hopefully people are taking note, because
You know what you should do? Twice before this video is over, you should do a cray cray levante.
Or just speak a little bit of Italian.
Io parlo in italiano.
Guarmozzi!
Alright, so, oopsie, I got a little on the side. I'm gonna wipe it off. So, let us see. This can go back up top. 4 and 9 pop up for you a lot, Crystal? That's awesome. So what does it mean to you? That's my curiosity. Like, we all have something that it means. Does it spark something within you? Like a memory is something, you know, like, what's the message that you get when you see it? Because the symbolism, the significance that we receive is personal to us, right? Like 111, 1111. I see that all the time. 1111, 111, or 1 2 3s and threes. Threes are big for me. 5s are big for me. And I'm the third I'm technically the oldest of 3 girls that grew up together, but the third in the line of 5 of us that my mother actually had. And then I feel it. Non posso, non voglio essere arrabbiato.
Cut!
È così. Lui si piace quando parla in italiano e anche c'è... you have to answer the door, darling. Honey, Lisa's at the door.
Oh.
My neighbor came to say hello, and here I am live making chocolate. So I'm gonna finish this up real quick because it looks like I might need a little bit more coconut oil, believe it or not. So give me a second. I think we're about... All right. Oh, how many of you use coconut oil on your skin or in your hair? And does it work for you? I've been using it for a very long time, but I found that lately I'm not liking it as much as I used to. And maybe it's because my hair's gotten so long. Maybe it's because, I don't know, I just feel like it doesn't do what it used to, or at least what I thought it was doing initially. Oh, I love that life and peace, and yeah, the number 5 red color on the back of an Illuminati shirt. Whoa, okay. You know, everything has a special message for us, and it's all personal to us, right? So, I'm going to put this over here because this is hot. Be very careful when you're handling your hot chocolate, like containers, for example. It may be fine when it cools off, but you got to be really careful if you're doing it like I am right now. I've been known to blister myself, cut myself, but it's all in the name of love. In the name of love, what's more in the name of love? Who's your favorite artist or band? My favorite artist and band? You too, right? Absolute favorite. All time, and I got to see them last year. Was my birthday present to myself. I did not get to see the Joshua Tree tour when I was in high school, so the fact that I got to see them last year made up for it big time. That was my gift to myself last year. Oh, I love this. It's really thick. Now, if you want, you can add coconut crystals for a little crunch, a little extra. I'm going to taste this first because, again, you can always adjust as you're making it to your taste buds. This is what it looks like right now. Right? So, all right, we got a little bit stuck up here. We want to put in there. Have you made chocolates before? This is actually a lot of fun when you get to learn how to make your own chocolate. You don't want to buy it from the store. It's just a convenience so that if you don't have time, if anything. All right, we're going to try this in a second. Make sure we know that the flavors are mixed well. That's a key. I want to make sure the people that you care so deeply for that are getting to try this get to appreciate it the way you meant it to be appreciated. Meaning, you're putting in the love. You're pouring in your heart. That's really good. It's rich, sweet. OMG, yum. Oh, it's super good. And now there's a little trick. You can even do, like I have Reese PC style molds in the refrigerator. You can take the mold, fill it about halfway, and then what you do is you put the almond butter in the middle and then another layer after you put it in the fridge to freeze in between layers. And I've done that, and it's so good. You could use sunflower butter. You don't have to use peanut butter or almond butter. You can use whatever butter you like. Pecan butter. I've also used sun butter or tahini. And you could add a little flavoring to the butter itself so that you get a little bit of extra sweetness in the middle. Because sometimes the butter might not be sweet enough. Yummy, yummy, I got lovin' going in my tummy. So this was a little thicker than I thought it was going to end up turning out. And it might be because my numbers were not quite exact, but I have this all done on paper so that I know that these recipe, the numbers and all the ingredients I've provided you on this broadcast are pretty equal, are pretty perfect. That is really, really good. Even better if you do have and you make those Reese's. So now the key is putting them in the molds. Now what I really think I need, I almost want to put just a little bit more coconut oil so that it's a little bit more, but yeah, we're going to do just a little bit more. Put that over here. And then we'll move on to putting them in the molds because coconut oil is, I think it's good for a lot of things. All right. I've started to get away from so much oil because I try to stay as much whole food plant-based. And when you're whole food plant-based and whole food, for example, you don't take things out of their natural state. So you use less of the refined oils if you even use any at all. And I think we're always learning something, and the way my body responds, I'm learning every day. You know, you gotta tune into it. Yeah, right, Crystal? Dark chocolate too. So this is with the coconut oil I just added. We're mixing it up to make it smoother, so to go in the molds a lot easier. Ooh. Like I said, it's a labor of love, and you gotta ooze it in there. Ooze all that love. Move it around. And you know, I've spent hours making the chocolate just because to me it's meditative and it's just the pleasure in making it and knowing that I'm doing this for someone other than myself. So I do love my chocolate. So let me tell you, if I like you and you get a chocolate from me, that says I really do care about you, because I don't just give these to anyone, people. Because I know not everybody can appreciate the love and what I provide or what I prepare. So if you're in my circle of friends, you've tried them. You know what my love tastes like. Between my kombucha and all of my cakes and my desserts and my sweet treats and whatever it is I make, everything I make, I truly do believe in the power of love through what you prepare, through the intention you set when you're making it, while you're making it, the appreciation, the thinking of that other, in the vision of, and the partaking of it, right? It's like ceremonious. This is a ritual. You can turn anything into a loving act. All you have to do is set the intention that it's loving, that's what you're sharing, is a piece of you. And to me, this is sharing a piece of me. Nourishing love. And I know the ninja knows, because he gets to try a lot of my creations. So now we're going to try to get that in there. I know that I got it smooth enough that it's, oh yeah. All right. So, let's get that off. Now, because this is so hard, I'm going to warn you, when it's this hard, and it's not just pouring out. Putting it in the molds is a bit of a chore, and so there's a couple ways I can go about doing this. What I'm going to do also is create a bark. So I use parchment paper, and I place it on the parchment paper. Now what I'm doing right here, just to give you a visual, whoops, is I put it, and I use the spoon to smooth it into the mold itself. Because of the oils in the bean, the cacao, the coconut oil, it's really easy to manage. It's not like it leaves goops. And anyway, it's all edible. So what'll end up happening is you'll still have to tap it. When you make chocolates, you have to remember air pockets get in there. You got to kind of smooth it around, make sure it's fitting into the mold. When I'm done filling these molds, I'll tap it and bang it up and down on the countertop, just to make sure that it's smoothly in there. You know, I press down on it to make sure I got it filled into the mold fully, so that it takes the shape of the mold. Oh, da, da, da.
I was talking to Lisa, I gotta get that stuff out of there, out of her yard, because they haven't picked it up, and she's having a party, and she uses that kind of as a drive-through. So with your dad's truck, maybe I can ninja flip all that concrete in his truck.
Oh, okay.
And take it out to the dump, and those are gonna be really, really good.
Do you want to try a taste of it already?
Sure.
Do you need your spoon? Where's your spoon? Oh, it's in the other room with the chocolate.
Hi everyone. 71 people, what?
Don't you all love Miss Lana? This might be the last time you all see us together for a very long time, like live. Maybe you'll go live Sunday, right? Go live Sunday.
Possibly Sunday night, yes. Because if you're in the Clearwater area, Saturday at 1:30 to 3:30, we'll be doing a mindfulness in the moment workshop, the gift of being in the present. And then on Sunday, I saw that, on Sunday I teach every Sunday at Yoga Village at 4 p.m. So come and join me, because one way or another you're going to get a chance to have an experience, and it's uniquely to you. Again, if you're coming to the mindfulness and the mindfulness in the moment workshop, you're getting a chocolate. Just all you have to do is sign up and show up. And bring a journal, make sure you have water and all the props and everything that you could possibly need to make yourself comfortable. We do have mats already, we have blankets, we have bolsters and blocks. So even if there's something you forget and don't even realize you need, we have it there to provide you. And again, let me know in the comments. If you're in the Clearwater area, let me know. Are you going to make it this weekend? Are you going to show up for yourself and be present with you? Be present with you, because you are the gift. Most of us are very dismissive in accepting that we could ever be a gift, but we are all gifts. We are all special. We are all unique. And we all have something to provide one another. I admit this is the part that probably is a little bit time consuming, because of the fact that I like to make it perfect and make sure it gets all nice in there. And then we'll make, like I said, the bark. This makes a lot more than it looks. I don't remember the number because I didn't write it down, and I probably did bark with that one too. Oh. What song is in your head? Let me know in the comments.
'Cause I got skills and the multiplying, and I'm hungry for some chocolate. That's electrifying. Wow. It's got a soul. Those are so good. I've had those before from you. They're so good when they're cold. Those are so good.
Yeah. Do you want me to shed a little light on the situation? It's awful dark in there, baby. Oh. And what are you eating tonight? Let me know. What's your special dinner? Yeah. This is so good. Oh my gosh. This is just awesome. Like chocolate sauce. Except for it's not sauce. But it is like the sauce. You gotta get creative and loving, and you gotta push and press it all in there. Try. Yeah. Okay. In the mood for love, simply because you're near me. Oh, your last weekend here? Oh my gosh. What a shame. Honey, are you sure you don't want to just bring a girlfriend or something and just come on join me, hon? Crystal, I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed. You get some chocolate. You get to try them. You done cooking this, hon?
Yeah, just leave it. It'll be perfect in about a half hour. Nice and warm.
I want to see how many of you on this broadcast are showing up for some chocolate on Saturday. I would think that's enticing enough. I would show up just for the chocolate. Especially after having watched this preparation, because this is, like I said, so delectable, delightful, enlivening the senses. The sensual being within you will just be, that's your soul, baby. The soul expresses itself through the experience of you partaking and engaging mindfully in the moment with all those senses, because that's what makes you the sensual being you are.
Yeah.
It's at 1:30 to 3:30 at Yoga Village in Clearwater. You won't be disappointed, honey, I promise. And bring a friend or two. If you got friends that are like, oh, I don't know, what should we do? Just say, I know exactly what we need to do. There's chocolate. Tell them there's chocolate involved, and probably they won't even realize there's something else. I will entice you with my chocolate. Right? Oh. Keeping it raw. You know, because we so rad. Pushing in that chocolate into the mold. And see, the thing is they're still warm. So because they're still warm, they'll still move, even if they look like they're hard. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. That is so awesome that you're in the area. I'm sorry you're not going to be here soon, even longer, because then we could even get together. But at least if you make it to the workshop the next time you're down here, that would be super rad to connect. We love it when we connect with our rock and rad stars. That makes it all the more like, what did I saw? I saw somebody posted a meme with this glass wall between the man and a woman, and they were both like, and our Facebook friends be like, we'll never meet them in person. Come on. We want to meet you. We're all about meeting our local rad stars and those who come to join us and visit. Robin's been to my body awareness workshop, as well as a couple, Diana, and then also the breath awareness workshop. We had Paula fly all the way down here, and Cheryl, yeah, and Paula came all the way from Canada to join the workshop, which was super impressive, and she was a delight. We really enjoyed hosting her. So that's what we're here for. We're serving on a huge scale, because we're using the power of this social media to unite one another, because that's what it's about, isn't it? We want to connect with one another. We want to unite, because really it's all about heart to heart, one-on-one. And if it starts with social media, who's going to complain? Because some of the best people I've met Kind of like the ninja.
Yeah.
Happened on social media. I'm the last person who would have ever said that. Just saying. Hey, I tried Tinder. It didn't last. I met maybe 2 people from it. Nothing special, but the people were decent. I mean, I met decent people, but it was just interesting. There's a lot of strange people out there who use it for whatever the reason, you know? I just tend to do better in person, so.
Did you already do kombucha?
No. That'll be next. We'll make chocolate kombucha too, by the way.
Oh, you are?
That's what I was thinking. That's
Yummy.
Yeah. Because I've got to brew kombucha, and Dad's got to stop by and get some, because this weekend I'll be booked with with the workshop and teaching. So it looks a little messy from the top, but this is how I started out. So I'll show you in a second. This is just one set of mold, okay? And I still got this much left. That's why I'm saying that chocolate takes a little bit longer than you would initially think, especially when you go in from scratch and you do like I do, which is by hand. And if you ever see those hard metal chocolate molds that people use, or different companies actually use them to make their chocolates, it's mostly because you have to tap the mold so that the chocolate itself, like what I do, because it creates a friction and it warms it up and it gets rid of the air pockets, and you'll see bubbles will start coming up through it. Even if this isn't super liquidy, right? Even though it's hard, look, it glistens still. Look at that. Isn't that pretty?
Let me see.
Yeah, bark with almonds. I don't have any almonds.
It changes the texture. Oh yeah, it's way more shiny, huh?
Well, because the heat is the friction.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
And then when you put them in the freezer, they're so good, and they're very tasty. They're very I want to say potent, because they're like healing, because it's super medicinal, very strong, and you always want to eat 2, but after 2 you're like good. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I usually do 1 at a time.
2.
Not 2 in a row, because it overpowers my taste buds, and I like to appreciate things instead of go over extreme. For me, that's me. I don't do a lot of sweet, but chocolate, and these are actually sweeter than I think I had intended, which is okay. But that's the purpose of the mindfulness workshop, is we're going to tap into what you feel when you're present in the moment, when you bite into a chocolate. And I'm going to recommend that people not just devour one piece, but to nibble off like a part of it, like the point of the heart or something. Because what you find is we can so easily just shove things in our mouth and not truly be present with what it is, because we're habitual. As humans, we sometimes will just start shoving stuff in our mouth, talking at the same time, totally not engaged in the conversation as much as the food, or the food as much as the conversation. You can't multitask, people. You can never do 2 things at once. You can only truly do one thing effectively and optimally at a time. That is meditation. And anything with single-minded focus, one thing at a time, is a form of meditation. It doesn't matter what you're doing. Even if you say, I don't know, I can't meditate, if you can focus on one thing, you're meditating. I don't care what it is. It could be changing a tire. It could be, doing laundry, ladies. It could be cleaning. I know for myself, cleaning can be very meditative. And I like to stretch it, because it's this silicone, which is really nice, because then any bubbles, it'll come out. Again, this becomes my meditation. It's a form of meditation because I'm focused on making sure that it's done with love and prepared in a way that delivers that beautiful energy, that healing vibration that I'm putting into it, I'm feeling into it.
Yummy. Where's that big bowl that I used to over here? I'm just gonna do quinoa and hot sauce, because I already had a lot of quinoa today, so I might as well just finish it.
He's gonna be living off the lands in Kauai. I told him I'm looking forward to we're returning back to how we started.
Right.
Facebook Messenger.
Boom. You hid this hot sauce for me for about a month.
I don't know where it was.
I found it way up there.
Oh, I didn't hide anything. The thing is I rearranged the kitchen in the declutter challenge, of which I will be starting back up. So don't think I forgot or dropped off the face. First off, with all the stuff we got going on in the house, there's a lot of cleaning up and organizing that has been happening that I haven't had a chance to videotape. But there's a lot that I will be coming back to provide and share with all of y'all. Because when this Rad Ninja's gone, I'm going to be cleaning house.
You can start the declutter thing like you said?
Yep.
Word.
Yeah. Isn't he cute? He's humble sometimes about the cuteness.
What?
Yep. Alrighty, time to check this out. Alright. So again, when I'm trying to fill them in and you start pounding them down, now it doesn't seem like it would pound, you could get more bubbles out, but you'd be surprised. And this is part of the process, the patience and the compassion that we have to have with anything in life, ourselves first inclusive, most important. The only way you can have compassion, kindness, and love for others is if you have it in yourself. And I'm telling you, I've had to work on that, and some days are harder than others, but what you find is the more you can be patient with yourself, you can see that the impatience you would ever have with another is really the impatience you already had with yourself. So filling all these in, sometimes by pounding out air bubbles and balancing out the chocolate, and sometimes I'll also rub them against the countertop. Grips it a little bit more than this wooden top, but it'll balance it out, so now it's a lot smoother and they're filled in better.
Honey, you gotta give them a real love thumb action.
Well, you got longer arms.
Oh yeah. Oh, these are delicate though.
You gotta hold it like this.
Okay.
Just do like
Yeah, look at. Here's some real what action.
Look at them just glistening. You know you want to lick those, don't you? And the tail end, they get a little salty, don't they?
We'll see.
Go ahead. Take a sniff. Ho ho ho. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to use this one next because there's a good one.
Oh, artsy baboof. I would have said artsy fartsy, but I don't use the word fartsy or fart, even though I just did. This is more of the artsy version. We would call that abstract. You just sounded like a goat when you laughed.
I sounded like a goat.
You went. Gotta do that again.
Alright, so I'm gonna put these on top so that they're. And then this needs to go back here. You don't need the ninja eating those chocolates.
Where?
Trust me, you don't want them.
Oh.
They're a little psychedelic. So I also make medicinal cannabis chocolates, and I have another recipe that instead of the coconut oil, I have a coconut infused version of cannabis, and that's what I would use on that. There's something synergistic that the cannabis really works well with cacao and chocolate. So that's one of my other specialties. Now, yeah, I know, I'll tell you right now, you know I like you if I'm willing to give those away. I would never sneak up on somebody and try to sneak a cannabis chocolate in their food or in their mouth. Now, my dad, on the other hand, is another story.
He would love that.
Well, he did that brown. Well, you willingly ate the brownie.
It was good.
Yeah, I bet. I remember one time I was taking a course and I was trying to meditate. I had tried, Dad's like, hey, I made brownies. I went out and he had this little tray and he cut them into squares. It was about this thick and maybe just not even, the square was like that much. They were so good and so yummy that I'm like, oh, I think I had two. I'm going to tell you right now, I dislike the feeling of not having some sense of control over myself, and I don't want to crawl out of my skin. And I was literally sitting going, oh, like crawling up the back of my head and everything else. It's like, I can't handle this. Please make the bad man stop. It was intriguing to witness myself. And you know what? That in itself is a meditation. Like, am I going to make it through this? Let's just say it was a potent experience. So now we're filling in these really rad abstract molds here. Super rad. Checky, checky, checky. Oh. These are diamond, like kind of pyramid shape that I'm filling in at the moment. And we're going to go to the circle ones, the half circles, the little half moons. So yeah, my dad loves my kombucha. Now my dad didn't always like the kombucha. It took him a while to get accustomed to it. Now he just loves it so much. He'll go and he does like my favorite recipe, which is fresh squeezed orange juice and kombucha. He'll go and get himself some fresh oranges, which it's orange season now here in Florida. In the winter, that's when the oranges are ripe. And he'll freshly squeeze it and then mix it like I like it. My other little add-on to fresh squeezed orange juice and plain kombucha is I love a little cinnamon, nutmeg, and ginger. Maybe a little vanilla, but that's just a simple, refreshing, and when it's warm outside, it just hits the right spot. Citrus is always nice. Wow. You don't realize how much chocolate you got until you start filling the molds. And you think you don't have enough, and then you realize you got more than enough. Yeah, dark chocolate, girlfriend. You show up to the workshop this weekend, and you will really get to appreciate it in person. I promise. So I have a mantra in my head. What is in your head for music? It's Guru, Guru, Wahe Guru, Guru Ramdas Guru, which is a very healing mantra. Like if you have physical pain or emotional body pain, it's a good one to chant. Guru, Guru, Wahe Guru, Guru Ramdas Guru, 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 Wahe Guru, Guru Ramdas Guru. Oh.
That was very good.
I thank you, honey. You like that? He does Guatemala a lot. He has his version of singing it too, and I like it. Did I mention I'm going to kind of miss him while he's gone?
A little bit?
A little lot. He's not a little lot. We were going to go for a bike ride earlier, but, you know, time just flew today. Got a lot accomplished, though. How's everyone dealing with the funky energies and the planet shifts that's going on? You know, we've got, and I hope that if you're watching and you happen to be in any form of the storm that just passed through here in Florida, that you're safe and that didn't affect you so badly. I know last year I went through it here, and I can tell you right now, I can't watch that stuff because it dragged me into the point where I felt fine. I felt like we're going to be okay. But the moment I started attaching myself to what was really going on in the media, it took me out of my peace. And I felt like I went through a storm that didn't even happen. And it took me a long time to recover from it because I literally got boxes of stuff and I packed certain things. You know, I really was like, well, worst case scenario, if I at least bring certain items, I'll be okay. I've got some things I can fall back on. Worst case, I lost my house, and I was just playing out these scenarios in my mind at the time as a result of the media. Now, if you trust your inner guidance and if you're really tapped in to your own self, none of that's going to happen. I mean, I know that's hard to say, but I find that the media is great to keep you informed to a certain degree and not attached to the emotional aspect of it, because a lot of what's in the media is meant to drag you out of your peace, and so much of it is to manipulate you and distract you from believing in your own self, your own awareness, your own intuition. Again, if you come to my Mindfulness in the Moment workshop, that's what it's about. Don't let something else take you out of that inner knowing, that trust, because for you. If you truly trust your inner gut, your enteric nervous system, really, you know what's really up for you. Oh, my time is coming if I don't get my butt out of here. Or, you know what? I'm going to be okay. I know they say one thing, but I feel something completely different. Like some of us, I feel a storm coming on. You feel the weather. If you tuned into your own body, you're going to feel everything before it happens, and you're going to be more aware and with clarity than if you try to trust an external source. So you have to really cultivate that inner trust and knowing in yourself. Wow. So I'm going to show you here in a second how much I filled up in here. We got more hearts. We got the little circles. There's one that looks like, do you remember Rolos? The little round Rolos that had like a caramel in the middle of the Rolo? Honey, did you eat Rolos when you were a kid?
They were too sweet for me. They always had them at the movie theater.
They weren't my favorite. The shape-wise of this mold is the same. That's what it reminds me of. I loved Score bars. My mother loved Butterfingers, which were too sweet for me. My mom and my dad, I think, did. Mom also liked Twizzlers. Red Twizzlers.
Ooh, that's like straight plastic.
Well, yeah, well.
Wow, can you imagine trying to digest, what is that, licorice?
No, the red one isn't even licorice.
I know, could you imagine trying to even eat that now? I'd be like, what is this foreign object?
Yeah, it wasn't my favorite thing back then either. So, I mean, there were certain things I did like, but Reese's Peanut Butter Cups were, of course, one of my favorites. Snickers, what's the other one? Twix, the peanut butter Twix. I like those. What were your favorite candies growing up? Eating candies. What candies did you eat growing up? My grandmother used to have that candy bowl on the coffee table, the hard candies. It used to drive my mom nuts because she didn't want us kids having hard candies, which makes sense. It'll break your teeth. I remember the butterscotch ones, the strawberry with a little bit of some liqueur or something in the very center.
I like the Three Musketeers.
Ooh, that was too sweet for me. That's one with the nougat center, right?
Yeah, Three Musketeer, Junior Mints.
Oh yeah, or the Big Mint one. Peppermint Patty.
Yeah, Peppermint Patties are good. That was like in '88 when Mannequin came out. Remember the movie Mannequin?
Yes. I
used to have a Three Musketeer, a giant Pepsi, and some Junior Mints. And how toxic does that sound? When you put a kid, in a movie theater and give them all that sugar.
I was never an M&M fan, though.
Were you?
Oh, yeah. Love sucking on the hard shell and to get into the middle.
Did you like the peanut or regular?
Regular.
Regular?
I wasn't big on the whole texture of the peanut. I was like, I feel like they're shorting me on that chocolate. Kind of a silly thought, I guess. But I also liked creamy peanut butter over crunchy. I wasn't a big fan of the crunchy peanut butter. It's interesting how we like or dislike certain textures, like certain things appeal better to us than others. We're almost done, I promise. This is a labor of love, people. Love on you some chocolate.
Go over the ingredients again for people that just are watching now.
Oh yeah, totally.
Everything that's in front of you.
So what we have in this, all of this, because I got to push this in. I got to talk and prepare this while I'm doing it. So we have basically equal parts of melted cacao butter. Equal parts of that to equal part of raw cacao, and I used powder. Now, I used 133.44 grams of the raw cacao butter melted on the stove. And then I put the same amount of the raw chocolate, raw cacao powder in it. And then on top of that, I started adding the lucuma at 25 grams, baobab at 20 grams, because I measured everything out. Mucuna pruriens was about 6.5 grams. And then I have ashwagandha, 3.5 grams, 5.5 grams of mesquite. We have 2 grams of gugulu, which is an Ayurvedic herb. There's a lot of superfood stuff in here that's really good for balancing your adrenals and everything, and your hormones. Horsetail, we have 1.5 grams, 2 grams of horsetail, 2 grams of nettle root powder. We have 1 gram of shilajit in here. We like the resins because they're fulvic acids and they're balancing. So the gugulu and the shilajit themselves are resins, which means they come in that sticky hard form. And then on top of that, we got gotu kola, also known as Bacopi monieri or Brahmi. Again, more Ayurvedic herbs. We have allspice, cinnamon, ginger, vanilla, nutmeg, salt, vanilla stevia, butterscotch stevia, some maple syrup, and some drops of almond extract. So I did 5 drops of the almond extract. And I'm going to do one more of these, the straight one, and then I'm going to make the rest into a bark. The ninja and I like to reach in the refrigerator once in a while and just grab off a nibble off the bark. To me, that's kind of like yummy. Quick and easy. Otherwise, what I do is I'll pop these all out of the molds and then it'll be in a container in the freezer so that if we get a craving, we just reach on in the fridge. What other recipes would you like to see us make in here? If you have any suggestions, we are all open to it. You know, I'm going to go live, me in the kitchen. You know, I love to dance in the kitchen. I'm all here about sharing all these beautiful, yummy recipes. If you have any particular health and fitness goals or dietary needs, let me know in the comments, because that's something I want to be able to provide you. If there's a service we can provide you, we need to know. So be willing to speak up, and we can show up for you the way you need someone to show up for you. So this is, like I said, it's always going to look a little messy when you first put it in there, especially when it's harder. See all that? And now we're going to try to get the air bubbles and air pockets out. This is a little different because it's a little bit bigger of a mold. It's like, oh, wave the flag, wave the chocolate, move it around, get out the air bubbles. Yeah, this is so funny. And then we'll move on to kombucha. Who's up for some booch? Booch in the house. I'll make a few chocolate kombuchas so you can see how I do that. I haven't made any chocolate kombucha in a while. I have coffee kombucha already in the fridge, which I probably need to do.
Can I have some of that?
The coffee kombucha?
Does that have a lot of caffeine?
What do you think?
Yeah!
He knows the answer to that.
Hey y'all, want to hear a really rad plug? I'm ninja flipping to the island of Kauai in the next 3 days for 60 days. And if y'all want to help me, I've already raised $3,200. If y'all want to help me, I have a fundraiser. It's called Roots of Hope on Facebook. I'll trade you $1
for one chocolate. I mean $5 for one chocolate. What? I'm gonna get some of that.
That was really wild. The rubber band went flying off the back of the phone. That was really funky. How'd that happen?
The show must go on.
Yes, it will. Where did it land?
I know where it's at. I Spy.
You ever play I Spy? You're getting warmer. It's cold.
I need to play I Spy. Oh, check this out, honey. I need to play I Spy more often with him.
I Spy was the bomb. We had this little owl. My
Do you
grandma.
see where that other rubber band is now?
Where's the coffee kombucha first?
All right, y'all. This is the refrigerator. All of these are coffee kombucha. I will pour it for you, baby. You want to shut that door, please? Thank you. Where'd that go?
That's called a what rad mohawk.
And he does have a
What?
what rad mohawk. We're gonna trim the sides before he goes.
It's 15 months old. I'm gonna have it so long it's gonna be between my butt cleats.
You want it in the glass?
Yeah.
Truth is love. Love
Look at
is
that.
truth.
Nice.
My daughter says that's hashtag dramatic pour. Because I get it way all up in there. Thank you, honey. That's gonna get me jacked.
I know, that's why when he said it, I was like, uh-oh, he's gonna be up all night. But that's okay because he's got a rad ninja bike he's gonna be working on. Alrighty, yeah, please, every little bit counts. We've been serving via this form of social media for y'all over a year now. We've had Ridiculously RawThentic, and we're really appreciative of our members, and we try to show up for you as much as possible. This isn't something that we're sponsored to do. We do it because we care, because we wish somebody had been there for us.
Yeah, and for all of you that are not whole food plant-based, maybe keto, maybe Weight Watchers, maybe Atkins,
Paleo.
maybe vegan, maybe carnivore. You all should try our meal plan. If you make a donation, we will gift it to you. Normally it's $97. So I know everybody's different with their diet or the way that they eat or the way that they consume energy and light. But if you're interested, help me with my fundraiser, y'all, and you can play with us, and we'll gift you the meal plan because how long that took us 4 months to create.
Oh my gosh, that was the labor.
There's
of
over
love in
300
itself.
recipes, y'all, in there.
And there are recipes that I and Tom both.
With a meal plan, a grocery list, like every day you know what you're gonna ninja flip and eat.
And it's in digital form, so you can carry it with you to the grocery store and with the shopping list on it. And I want to point out something that most people don't realize. If you print that out, I went to the printers one day because I wanted to get a copy of it physically, and we still have a few little edits here and there to tweak. And then they're not going to take from the recipes. The recipes are fine, but to print that out costs about $65. So if you wanted to print that in an actual form, like in your hands, that's a good $65 just to print out. So, $97 is really, that's paying for the recipes. That's not even paying for a printout. You're getting it and it's mobile. It's much more, and that's just what I went up the street. I mean, that could cost more someplace else.
It's all good. What kombucha are you making next?
I'm gonna make plain. I'm going to make some coffee, the chocolate.
Are you gonna be doing that at the yoga studio or just the chocolates?
No, we're doing just chocolates at the studio.
Yummy.
Yeah. It's a little too much to bring in. I'm in the carpeted room. It's a beautiful room. We have a gong. If you've never been in a gong session, we don't allow any food or drink typically in there. The chocolate is going to be just an exception for this particular course, this workshop. So again, if you're in the Clearwater area, I really look forward to seeing and meeting you and serving you some delicious chocolates that we're making right here. And you saw it here first, so you get to say, I got to watch her make them and I got to try them. I think that's really rad. I know I would be like that. Oh my gosh, is that the chocolate you were preparing the other day? Yes, it is. Delicioso. Buon appetito, bébé. There we go. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I've bubbled out as much as I can. Oh, there's more bubbles. See, I'm telling you, you find more bubbles as you're doing this. And sometimes what has happened for me is I'll put them in the freezer, and even still after banging them out, trying to make sure they fit fully in the molds, there may be a little pocket, and maybe I didn't do as well of a job I thought I did. Let's see, that heart is looking like it's got a bubble. There we go. Okay, there's a little bubble right there. Okay, so there we go. That's going in the freezer. Isn't that beautiful? I love it. Okay.
We also have a YouTube channel and a Facebook group. It's called RADiculously. RawThentic. Check us out. What?
Don't forget the Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. RADiculously RawThentic. But our group is really, really rad. RADiculously RawThentic. We've got over 50,000 ninjas, and all we do is play it all day, every day. Support, inspire, and motivate with love.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. All right, so I'm going to pull out some parchment paper for the very last part of the chocolate. This is where it gets really easy. I love parchment paper. It's probably the best invention ever. You can use it in the oven. You can use it in the freezer. You can use it pretty much for all sorts of stuff. I've used it in the dehydrator. So here's what we have left that is going to go on the parchment paper as my bark. And so, you know, nothing has to be perfect. It's all about progress in life, right? You're not broken. Nobody needs to fix you. You need to be good with and accept yourself for all aspects.
Yeah.
Right, baby? We accept you and love you just as you are. And like in Bridget Jones' Diary, we love you just the way you are.
Yeah.
All right. See? Don't even leave a little bit of a licky. It's all good. Okay. And so what I'm going to do is just simply smush it down. This is how they make bark. And if it were a little bit more liquidy, because your chocolates will come out harder or more liquid, depending on what temperatures you're tempering them at and how their temperament is. I thought that was funny. I like it to smooth out. This will end up being bigger than it looks, right? So when you're pushing it down, it's gonna have different layers, textures, and then you can just break it off as you want it in the fridge. Doesn't have to look like anything in particular. Oops, see, now we're really getting down there. And because of the fact that it's starting to soften up and like it did in the molds because of the heat. All right. Up on roll. That's good. So what you can do with the parchment paper, because it doesn't stick, and you can fold it over because it's sticking to the spoon. You can fold it over and spread it out even more, right? It all depends on how thick you want it. If you want it like chocolate bar thick, you don't have to smooth it down. And voila, we have the chocolate in this big old blob, right? It's all perfect. And that just go in the freezer I'll do here. I'll fold under that part and then fold this part this way. Just stick it in the freezer, and then when it's hard enough, it will be. See, that was all hard. And so we'll come back to that afterward. We're going to move on to the kombucha because that's a huge, in itself, the kombucha is a lot of work. So I'm going to clear off a little bit of spice here so you can get a better look at the booch and the baby. Baby. We're done with all of this. Are you the type of person who cleans up as you go, or do you like to leave yourself a mess to come back and clean up, which really kind of, in my mind, causes me more anxiety and stress? I like to get things done when they need to be done, because that whole idea of cleaning up later usually means it's going to be more deep, dirty cleaning than if I do it when it's dirty. I'm not a deep down dirty worker. I like to smooth it out with grace and ease. Alright, so this is our scale cleaned. I keep everything in its little, it has its own little place. Sneaky back up in the cabinet. Ooh, did I just step on something? I'm barefoot around the house. I'm enjoying it. Okay, so we put back all these goodies. Do you have a favorite kombucha flavor? Let me know in the comments, because one of my favorites is watermelon, which I haven't had in a while. And I never thought I would ever try watermelon kombucha, but it is absolutely delicious. Once you've tried it, yummy. Alright, so we got that. I'll put back. Life gets easier when you allow it. Oops. There we go. Okay. So now we're going to clear this up and we're going to bring in the kombucha SCOBY and everything that we have, because that's where things get really interesting. Have you seen a kombucha SCOBY before? It's called A Symbiotic Culture of Bacteria and Yeast. And it's a big patty. It's considered a mushroom, or some people would say fungus, as if fungus is gross, which it is not. Fungus is good. We like our fungi, don't we? I do. So, symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. It is good for healthy gut and bacteria in the belly. Serve you up some healthy healing. Eats the sugars. So candida, there's a lot of research out there. You got to know your body. And so if you have a high overgrowth of candida in your body, kombucha could help it, or it may cause you problems. It's something you have to navigate in your life. And I will never say I know all the answers to everything, because I have learned I am still figuring life out.
The lighting is really good in it.
Thank you. I work well with this ninja over here.
You like this table, huh?
I do.
Really good. Perfect for this.
You found this table on the marketplace?
Yeah. Facebook Marketplace.
It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. He bumped his head, fell out of bed, and couldn't get out in the morning. Isn't that how that goes? So because I have a little bit of oil from the chocolate, we're gonna make coffee kombucha. We're gonna make a chocolate flavor. I haven't done this in a while, but it's really, really yummy. And who'd have thought you could do kombucha with chocolate? Just like when I first started making the coffee kombucha. I was living in Naples, Italy, and I love me some espresso cappuccino. And so I had this thought in my head, I want to try coffee kombucha. Is that possible? And I sure as heck I was able to do it. I was brewing it up. Yeah, baby. He's drinking. This one is a vanilla. Does it taste? I think it's vanilla. Does it taste like vanilla?
Not really.
Pecan? Butterscotch?
Pecanish.
Pecanish?
It's really, really good.
I like that. Pecanish. And so here we go. First things first, we're going to bring It's just here around the corner. I keep it close to the kitchen. It is heavy. This, my 2-gallon SCOBY filled kombucha.
Let's get him a little what action with this.
It's really heavy. So
I know.
please just be
No!
keep the breath out.
Look at that. Boy, that is really heavy, especially if it's sweating a little bit. You got some guns to be doing that. Now you be careful because I don't want it to slide. No slipping and sliding.
I'm loving on my booch. Do you love on your booch, baby? Okay, so I'm actually craving to drink some kombucha right now. I'm actually really craving a whole lot of things, but you know, hey. What I like to do, I have a couple designated kombucha tools. First, we use a plastic strainer, right? Colander, whatever you want to call this. This is designated just for the kombucha. Then I have a wooden spoon, because I don't use metal with it, to stir it so that I can make sure that I can push down the SCOBY and I can get to the actual kombucha liquid, the booch. I have a funnel and a little cup to scoop it. Sounds a little silly, but it's just the method that I've been using for years. You do what you gotta do when you gotta do what you're doing. Do the do you do, what do you do with the do? Alright, so I'm gonna start out, first things first, I'm just gonna do some plain. So my dad's gonna be coming over here probably tomorrow. Dad, are you on this broadcast? Sometimes he pops in. He likes to say hi. First things first. And this gets sticky, so wherever you're working, number one, make sure there are no bugs. Let me tell you, peeps, you don't want any type of fly getting in on your booch because they will lay some eggs and it is not a pretty sight. It will turn you off and freak you out. Just saying, because I've been there, done that. I don't want you to have that experience. Not fun. Not good. Right? Okay. So we have a couple kombucha SCOBYs floating around in here. The last time I brewed, I ended up giving some away. So if you're in the Clearwater area and you would like a SCOBY, please send me a message. I will certainly share, and you are more than welcome to some SCOBY. You can also compost them. There are designers using them to make clothing, which I think is super rad. I think that is the coolest thing. Repurposing, doing something, being sustainable and not wasting. It's one of the things that we believe will help serve others and heal the world. Is all about reuse and not waste, right? And what is the difference between reusing and wasting? Appreciating and lack thereof, right? So we have to kind of be, again, mindful about what our actions are about. Are they about us being in the moment or being caught up in the past or the future? Like, do you know that most wars are started and defended over people's ideals? People's ideas. We fight over things in our head, not over stuff. What it is we expect, want, think is right or wrong, that's all in our heads. None of that even exists. How crazy is that? So we can be our own tyrants inside of our head first before we're even a tyrant to anybody else. Let's not become a tyrant outside. Let's work on the one that might be working on us on the inside. That we call the ego, which is meant to serve us, is not a bad thing. One thing I've learned is it does serve well if you can train it properly. Train the mind, master it, and then you will no longer be stuck with everything outside mattering as much as your mind lets it matter, right? If you don't mind, it doesn't matter. I like that Dr. Seuss quote too, right? Alright, so when it bubbles up, which it did in the glass, and I'll show you this in a second. Okay, so one of the quick questions that I get often is, how do you create the fizz? How do you get your kombucha so foamy, fizzy, effervescent? Well, the trick is creating that air pocket. You know, you have to tighten the lid and leave it outside at room temperature until you refrigerate it so that it can create that gas, because it's still fermenting, and so that with that process it's creating its own effervescence that continues even in the fridge. But it's, if you want that effervescence in the beginning, you put it on the countertop and keep it at room temperature so that you get a nice fizzy kombucha flavoring, right? So this is just plain. Dad's gonna come pick this up tomorrow. I had some mint tea in there, so it might have a hint of mint. Oh, I rhymed, hint of mint. I love it when that happens. And now over here we have just plain. All right, so here's one of the keys that always gets interesting. So I'm going to use this other funnel, and we're going to put in some raw cacao. Oh, my toe, I stubbed my toe on my flip-flops. I'm going to put raw cacao, some butterscotch toffee, stevia. This is what I was using earlier to make the chocolates. We're going to do, where'd I put the spoon? It's over here. We're going to use, that's about, say half a teaspoon. How about that? Because you really don't need a lot, and that might even be. We're going to do a few bottles of this. So let's try these two. Have you ever had coffee kombucha? Have you ever had chocolate kombucha? If you're in my area and you've been to the studio, you've had mine probably, if you know me. All right, that one needs to be really well washed. That is not ready. Okay, let's just try. Yeah, that one's clean. So I like to get it down in there. And there's a trick when you're mixing a powder in with the kombucha. You don't just put the powder. I mean, you could mix it up on the blender. That helps if you mix your chocolate mix first. I'm starting to think it's actually that pole. Alrighty, so again, half a teaspoon. And then what you'll do is you'll want to shake it up a little bit, what's in there. And I've done this a couple different ways where I'll mix it with, I've made a chocolate smoothie and just mixed this chocolate smoothie with some kombucha, and it was absolutely delicious. We're going to do 5 bottles of chocolate kombucha because I haven't done that in a while. I also got a bunch of fruit today that I would love to make, but I'm going to do that later because that's a little bit more time consuming, because that's going to require me using the blender. And right now, I'm just going to fill up the bottles with just the plain after I'm done with the chocolate. And that's what I do, is sometimes I'll make up the flavors after I've brewed and let the plain sit. Just depends. You can do it either way. You can do it immediately while you're brewing it, and I still have to brew up tea, so that's another part of this process. I haven't even started.
Someone was knocking at the door. See, look, it's going down, but it's perfect for where you're at.
Yeah.
Just make it work, huh?
I think I got a little granule stuck in there. Sorry. Dulce Acapulco. Anybody remember that commercial? Okay, so it's stuck in there. This happens sometimes. This is one of the reasons why I was saying earlier that if you're making chocolate, we'll try that again. You want to make sure that the powder itself is broken up, that there's not granules in there. All right, that should work. Let out the aggression. Oops. always toss it back into the container, right? All right. Before I forget, there was one other thing I was going to do. What did I say? I wanted the chocolate with... There was something else I was going to do, but I'll do it in a second because it'll come to me in a second. So, that's 3 bottles with half a teaspoon. This one does not look like a half a teaspoon compared to the others, but sometimes it's deceptive in the container. No, I still need to add a little bit more. So what I like to do is if you take the container, like I said, you got to kind of break it up in here. Mash it up on the side or whatever it is you're using. You just want to make sure that it's going to, what's the word? Homogenize, mix well. Ooh, hello. I'm making a little bit of a chocolatey mess over here. It's all good. Little Dumb and Dumber. It's all good. Love Jim Carrey, great actor, humanitarian, artist. So again, I am going to say this the whole time. Make sure you ninja flip your butt over to Ridiculously RawThentic, our group, and see what we're all about. We're all about being raw and rad. We're here to uplift, support, inspire, and empower one another. The group has been active now just over a year. We have some amazing rock and rad stars who've been showing up from the start, some who've shown up later on, and each and every one of you inspires us daily to continue to show up here. So, that, and now we have 5 bottles. 5 is a good number, isn't it? We're going to go back to that. So, like all this. Yeah, we're gonna food it up with some chocolate. Oh, hello. I wear my food well too, by the way, just so. Alrighty, now this is where I do a taster on the first one that I make because I got the butterscotch toffee. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking 4, at least. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the fun part is, so that I don't need right this second. Now what we're going to do is go back to the very first one. I use the strainer for this reason, because we don't want all the threading and all that material in our kombucha bottle. Hi Clarissa, how are you? Aloha, darling. What are you having for dinner tonight? I just made up some chocolate, if you're just now tuning in. Now we're making chocolate kombucha. We're keeping the theme, throwing it back to the kitchen. This is where a lot of love is made, in this house. The love of food. Alright, so... Okay, so I fill it about halfway up. This is my method. Everybody can try their own. I close up the bottle. I love the pop top lids. It's very simple. You close it up. It's all sealed. Now, see the bottom of that? You want to move it. You're going to mash it up and like bang it up and make sure that shake it, shake it, shake it like a Polaroid picture. Shake it, shake it, shake it like a Polaroid picture. Oh. Oh, you wanted to learn to make coffee kombucha or chocolate kombucha. Awesome sauce. That's so cool.
What?
I love it. So, and that's so funny because the Polaroid picture song brings me back to when I used to be a runner. I was a long distance runner when I lived in Naples. Actually, I was a long distance runner for a long time, but we used to run together with we called it the Espresso Harriers, a running club with the, espresso drinkers with a running problem is what we joked about. And we would run early in the morning, stop and have an espresso, cappuccino, cornetto, whatever, and then run back to the base when I worked in Naples, Italy at the Navy base. So you want to shake it so that it's completely shaken up and there's no powder, right? Then you finish filling it up. Oh, and there is definitely a fizz to this one. Hello. All right. Always good to have a napkin on hand, something to wipe up. We do a lot of messes in the kitchen, right? I know I'm not alone in this one. Yep, this is gonna be yummy. Obviously, I know. And I wasn't sure I could do coffee kombucha or chocolate kombucha, and then of course, just like anything, you gotta try it. You know, if your taste buds feel like you could do it, chances are, you know, trust. I learned a lot through just tapping into my taste buds. All right, so I will fill it up to that's good, right? All right, that's good. Hey y'all, hey y'all. Now I got the song in my head again. I started that right. So, good evening, Jane. How are you tonight? So now look at how fizzy and foamy it gets because of the chocolate. It gets that creamy kind of foam. La crema, like in italiano, diciamo la crema, come il caffè, sopra c'è la crema. So at the very top of your coffee, that foam, that white cream, is called the cream, the crema, la crema. And that's like, you know, you got a good coffee barista when they can create that for you. All right, now what I do, because this is the first one, it's a tester. It's a connoisseur. It's like, you know, like a sommelier. You become a sommelier of kombucha. Very heightened sense of taste. Oh yeah, that's good. 5. That's really good, and even better after it sits for a little bit. So I'm going to fill up the rest of this one. I keep the one I taste off to the side, just in case you're wondering. I know which one it is. Okay, and now the second one has the 5 drops. And before I start pouring the kombucha in there, I'm going to do 5 drops into the other 3 bottles to make sure. One of the things I have to be careful about, I sometimes will make a little bit of a dribble off the side, and I like to clean it up as I go, right? Oh, that's going to be so good. It already tastes good now. It's just, you know, it's just like anything. It tastes even better with the time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not kidding. This stuff is concentrated. Be careful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. We're good there, like that. And you could even add an almond extract to it as well. But I'm going to just keep it very simple with those 2 ingredients. Because the almond extract is really yummy, and it adds a little bit more of a yummy flavor to it. But like I said, we keep it simple, the same, and you can always play with your recipes. Just like anything, it's a template. You can always modify according to your taste buds, according to what you like, your flavors. Trust your taste buds. This one, and then I'm going to shake it. Shake it like a Polaroid picture. And again, this is a meditation, right? So the time you spend, the time you work on something, and the mess I make, is meditation. Everything's single-minded focus. The more attention you give to something, you're completely in it. not talking about doing something and thinking at the same time, because that's not the same. Totally different process. All right, there we go. Now, shaky time. Hammer time. Everybody remember those pants and the hammer? See, again, the powder in the bottom. And you know, another thing that I do is I'll play mantra, chanting in the background, because of the high vibrations. They change the energy of your space. And even like me sitting here saying I've got mantra in my head, and I sang a little bit of the Guru Ramdas chant earlier, that's also providing additional uplifting vibration to your food. So instead of thinking about something that might upset you, which sometimes we do when we're preparing food, we don't even realize it. You have to be attentive that that's what you're imparting into your food. You're infusing whatever's going on up in here through you into what you do. Do you ever go to restaurants and wonder why this food doesn't taste quite right? Well, you don't know what's going on with the chef. Maybe the chef's not having a good day. And you're taking on that energy because that's what they were going through when they prepared your food. Not to give, that's not personal against them, but you realize that we all, wherever we're at, it shows up in what we're doing, right? The way you do anything is the way you do everything. Be aware, because that's huge. All right, that one's done. Moving on to this one. And it's humbling too, because we want to say we're doing things for the right reasons, and sometimes we're really not. But we got to check ourselves. Nobody needs to check us. We need to check ourselves. Nobody needs a babysitter. You got enough trouble with their own stuff to be taking care of other people and checking them. Had to learn that one too. I'm not here to fix anybody. I got enough of my own stuff to work on. And you can do this all different ways. I mean, if you wanted to, you could just do go from one to the other, get it half full, and then shake them all up, and then go back to finishing them off the tops. And just enjoy the process, the fact that it's alchemy in the kitchen is what I like to say. You're creating something. That's what makes us such powerful beings. We are all artists. We are all creators. We make things with our hands. And women, we make things with our bodies. We create life. We carry babies in us for 9 months, and that's incredible. I still have to remind myself that. Even though I haven't had children, that's huge. This is gonna be a yummy batch. Crema, le cacao. Crema, la cacao. How are you doing this evening, Wenda? It's always beautiful to see you showing up. You've been with us for a long time as well. How is your day going? How many out there are in the Florida area? I haven't seen anybody quite yet. Just one person so far. Crystal said she's in the area. Shake it up. I'd love to meet you. I'd love for you to come down to the yoga studio and join me on Saturday from 1:30 to 3:30. It's where I can share those beautiful chocolates I just put in the freezer. And then there's always Sunday too. You can come back. If you enjoy Saturday so much, you can come back on Sunday at 4 as well. And that is just my regular every Sunday class. See, cacao, chocolate on the bottom. So the rest of this I'm just going to put in just regular bottles, because it'll be easier to mix up later with something else. I've got peaches and pears, and I might do up a pear kombucha. I haven't done that in a while. I used to love, one of my favorite flavors that I did when I first started this was a goji berry pineapple. It was goji berry, pineapple, and what was the third ingredient? There was another ingredient. It was so delicious. Might have been raspberries. Oh my gosh, super yummy. Maybe even blueberries. More. Or frutta di bosco, fruit of the woods. All right, so we already know this is really super fizzy, so I like to cover it so that it doesn't go spraying all over everything. So always have hear that pop? That tells you it's alive. It's alive. The booch is alive. Hey, it grows just like we do. It becomes bigger than life itself. All right. Okay. So let me know in the comments if you have any particular questions regarding kombucha or chocolate. Is there anything I can help you with? Maybe even about yoga and breathing and mindfulness, body awareness. What's going on with you? Ooh, I have to pay attention because sometimes I can over pour and make a mess. And that was a moment where I could have just done it. See? Being mindful in the moment. I have to check myself. I'm good with that. Alrighty, what we got? What? It's a beautiful Thursday night. When I used to live in Italy, Thursday night was the night for adults to go out and play. More than the weekends. The weekends, see, there I go. I'm in Italy right now. There's an example. Oh boy. Whoopsie. Oh, that's so good. That's lickable. Those of you who've been watching me for a while understand that when it's really, really good, it is lickable good. Because I will lick it. I don't find that offensive whatsoever. It's a form of appreciation. How about you? Are you a licker? Would you admit it to other people if you were a licker? I'm not shy. I ain't afraid. Not scared of somebody judging me because I'm big enough of a judger of myself. I think that's the thing about life. We sometimes take things too personal that we'll judge another because we don't want to be judged. So it's actually a form of deflection. Right? When we're not comfortable with ourselves, we reach out to make other people make us feel more superior. That's been my experience. All right, we got those. Now we're going to use the sponge because I did make quite the mess. And it gets so sticky if you don't wipe it up properly immediately when it happens. Okay. And get underneath this thing. I'll probably end up having to wipe it up a couple times. I have been known to make a little bit of a mess when I'm making booch. And it's okay. Nobody gets hurt. In fact, if anything, there's a lot of licking and sticking going on.
You got a mess in here.
Yeah, I called in a ninja.
Well, it really went down, huh?
Yeah, it's all good. I'm still in the picture, right?
You almost finished?
Just about. I'm just gonna finish up putting this in regular bottles, and then I can show them the chocolates. I can show you the chocolates now, because you know what? I think we're good.
Did you put away the cassava tortilla?
Yes, I did. I put it in the refrigerator because it was getting all.
What does?
No, it's.
How do you spell it?
I don't know.
IT. Boom!
Oh, he got me. He got me good. All right, you want to see the chocolates, y'all? Let's pull them out of the freezer. All right, so first off, we have the bark, right? Isn't that rad? Look at that bark. It even molded in a side, right? The bark is really quick because it's not in any type of mold. I know the ninja will be happy. He likes to have something to grab and nibble. My favorite thing, and I probably could have done it, was added a little bit of peppermint oil to this. I love peppermint in chocolate. That's like one of my all-time favorites. It soothes my stomach sometimes when I feel a little off, and it just feels really yummy in my mouth, in my tummy. Feels really yummy in my mouth, in my tummy. So here we go. Chocolates are going to be taken out, and I've got a special container. These specific ones are going to the workshop. So I have like to put them in these plastic containers to maintain them and take care, make sure. All right, so what I do is I'll stretch out the sides. You need to put the cover on this because there are little flies that just surprise with their little winged selves showing up and eating. And I don't need any contamination in my booch. That would not be a pretty sight. I'd be very upset myself. Alright, so what I like to do is I like to stretch it out. And then you can pop them out individually. See, some of them are going to have like a little bit extra edging on them, which can be pulled off easily enough. I can shave those off with the knife. But look at how pretty that is. Look at that. It came out really nice and smooth. Isn't that beautiful? It's a little heart within the heart, made with love from my heart to yours. For those of you who show up at the workshop, you're going to truly appreciate and enjoy this, I believe. That's my intention. All right, so I think that's it, y'all. If you have any questions, again, you can always message us, show up in the group, tag us, me and Tommy. We will answer your questions. We will show up to you as you would like us to. You know, wipe off my hands because I got a little bit of chocolate.
Bye, y'all. You done?
I am. You want to love, spin, boom it?
Yeah, I guess the camera's all messed up, but we could do it.
Oh no, it's not messed up. We're going to fix that. All right, y'all. We're going to love, spin, boom.
Love you all. This is a great video. You did good.
Thank
Lots
you.
of information, y'all. That's really, really difficult to do. She has fun doing it. She's full of information. She's been doing it for a very long time. You'll have a wonderful night. 1, 2, 3.
Boom! What?
Keep it
raw.
raw.
Stay rad. Love you.